All right, microphone. There we go. Hey guys, I've got to get this off my chest. I was going to talk about something else. Just came into the studio, did not even pause to even go to the restroom or anything. I just pressed record, turned the lights on. Here we go. You come from a long line of rapscallions and rebels and folks that are willing to stand up and say no. We have folks today that are saying no more than ever. And I think it's fantastic, but I want to tell you not just about it, but also what I see, the genesis, the heart of it, where this comes from. It's in our DNA to stand up and say, at some point, say absolutely not. And how do we get here? And I want to talk to you about your DNA and what's going on right now in May of 2023. This unscheduled rant is brought to you by Hidden Hybrid Holsters. These folks are patriots. They believe in freedom and they believe in the Constitution so much that for many years they've been sending out constitutions with their product, and that's pretty fantastic. And speaking of their product, it's well made, handmade with Amish leather, and it's finished by craftsmen in Canton, Ohio. Big thank you to Hidden Hybrid Holsters. They're awesome, all-day comfort. You people, thank you for every thumbs up. Everybody has values. We have things that are down in us. We don't often talk about them. We have things that we do, but those do's, how we act with our hands, how we act with our feet, where we go, what we say, is all based on the building blocks of values. And we all have this. And we don't really teach that. It's just caught. More is caught than taught. Kids catch it from their society, and it's big time. Example. Today's May 1st, and now summer's getting ready to hit, and all over America, kids, 15 to 25-year-olds are going, hey, what are you going to do this summer? What are you going to do? Two things. The idea that we plan things ahead of time, kind of, and then we do something. Like, we don't just sit around. No, nobody's going to go, hey, you know what? I'm going to lay on the beach and not do anything and suck off the government. There are people that are going to do that, but not in this circle. We're all the time. I asked my son yesterday, I said, hey, what are you going to do this summer? He goes, I got a couple ideas. That's what we do. We have a value that we operate, we act, we make things happen. I heard Jordan Peterson say today that one of the things he has done to combat being protested on campuses when he gets there is he just holds his talks at 8 a.m. because the blue-haired liberals will not get out of bed and come scream about the demon that they think he is, at 8 a.m. Why? Because they don't do anything. They suck off the government and then protest about it, and because they've been told to by their teachers and by professors and by the society and by the media that Marxism is fantastic, they go and fight for that whenever they get to it, 2 or 3 in the afternoon. We do. That's a long way around to say that we have values. The value of America is rebellion from the very beginning when we got here. Keep in mind, we've been around a long freaking time. There was a long time that we were here. We were a people, and we had an oppressive government over us, but they weren't always oppressive, and it wasn't just a government. It was the government of the world at the time, the world's at that time the greatest military and the greatest navy. Their navy was not to be trifled with. And they end up colonizing pretty much the entire world. And yet one group of people, through pioneers and trailblazers, the Davy Crockett's and the Daniel Boones and all of that, men and women, at that point, back then, of course, Daniel Boone and Davy Crockett were in the 1800s, but back then, the 17s, they said no. No. We always talk about the tea tax and this tax and that. It was much worse than that. It was oppressive what those people could even import from Europe. Oppressive. It was big. Finally what they did is they gave a big middle finger to that bloated King George, and a bunch of hillbillies and farmers took their muskets and went out in fields, and they laid down and died. A great example, fantastic example. In the 16th century, that was the 1500s to those of y'all in Kentucky, people were already exploring Canada. Canada's sitting right on our, they're like our hat. They're sitting right there. They're right there. We never talk about them. We never talk about. They are the second largest country in the entire world by landmass. The number one largest country as far as shoreline. They are massive. They've been around forever. And they didn't even become a country until 1982. Their entire existence is based on servitude. Their entire existence is based on acquiescence and saying, okay. It's why today you have disarmament of those people and they're all like, yeah, okay. There's pockets, but not overall. The government is not afraid of the citizens. Their prime minister is just as bad as our child sniffer. And he says that Canadians don't have the right to self-defense. Can you imagine if our leader said that? There's a whole big FAFO going on right now. And I think they would FO if they were to say something like that. All right, all of that aside, or maybe because of all that, we have values. This is who we are. Our DNA is rebellion. I see over the last few months men and women standing up to seeing children mutilated in this country and saying no and drawing a line. I posted a bunch of stuff on Instagram yesterday and your all's response was pretty freaking good. We can disagree. I love disagreement. Love it. Bring it on. We can disagree about everything. The Tim Kennedy conversation last couple of weeks ago, it was some disagreement there. It's kind of fun, kind of interesting. But not on the way we're currently treating children. My point is this. I see the very heart of the revolution within this social media movement that's going on right now saying no to the pink-haired leftist Marxists that are trying to tear down everything about this country. Where do you stand? Let me know right below.